Heyo, I hope you're having a good day. So I was going to kind of jump right in where I left off on my last video, which was more multiboxing stuff. Somebody asked like some more specifics um, as far as like how to set up your first team, that kind of thing. So I'll go over that real quick and then we'll do an RDF and kind of show you the things in action. So some nice things that you may want to get if you do multiboxing is just more hard drive space because I use a couple different copies of WoW. This is like the whole directory, and they have less add-ons, and their settings for video settings are different. So like right now, it's on. Let's turn it up to ultra so you can see the full effect. I'll full screen it so you can really get an eye full. So I'm hearing Dalaran, a little laggy. I'm going to use these macros. Already way better. Like it looks brighter, obviously, and a little less choppy, especially like the bone armor, you can really tell. And then to double it, you may want to do like this first, change everything to low, and then view distance still at max, because it's still nice to be able to see things. And then run these macros also. And I'll keep these in the description, but they're just graphic macros that go in and change the INI file to any file. And like do things like turn off grass. This one even like FPS locks. So if this WoW is not your main controlled screen, it can change it to like, max FPS is 15 here for a background one, which is plenty. Because they're so small, you don't need these to be like super ultra high def windows. It's totally fine if they're not. Melee characters are a little bit harder to control when you have them in a team. So you have to go into the menu, mouse, and then turn on click to move. And that lets you click to move, like you click where you want the guy to go. And then go into keybinds and change interact with target to something that you can easily reach. So for me, it's T. And then for all of my characters, move backwards is G. So move backwards is just to stop follow. So I'll run up, put everybody on follow real quick. I'll run up, I'll press G to make everybody, these characters, stop moving so I can position them in a good place for the healers and the ranged. And then I'll select on my tank, I want to attack this target, and then on all of my DPS, they'll have this macro that's a targeting macro. It's just /assist focus. And then the Paladin, which is my top left window, my tank, is the focus for all my characters. So I'll run up, press G, press, where's a good target? I think I can make them interact with this one. I'll press G1 to make them all target. See the changed here, and then T. And then saw how this bottom left dude moved to it because he's the melee, and they would start attacking. Every character and class is a little bit different, but just as Unholy as an example, here's my macro for them. It's not perfect DPS. It's just pretty good. So basically this goes through a quick and easy rotation. If you want to get more in depth, you can use this add-on called Super Duper Macro, and it lets you write really, really long macros, like way longer than the 255 limit. So you can make like a 5-minute rotation, like a whole paragraph, if you wanted to. So you can like go through and map out the rotation perfectly if you really wanted to. Shadow Priests, they also use a similar macro, like a 1-button macro kind of, for Mind Flay, and this Shadow Priest is just barely 6k, I think. Yeah, just 6k. And it doesn't have 4-piece yet, so it's still using Mind Blast, and I just base it off of that. Like Mind Blast is first, a couple of Mind Flays, back to Mind Blast. Button 4 is Vampiric Touch, no macro. 5 is Devouring Plague, no macro. And 3 is Shadow Word Pain, again, no macro. And then I'll show you this all in practice. The tank is, find his real quick. Again, just a one button macro. Real simple, goes through his rotation. I prioritize Conk first, Hammer Righteousness, because a lot of packs, most packs, especially in RDF, are AoE packs. And then I wear this, Pally tank is very geared against this, so I wear a lot of like this. 900 spell power for Consecrate is a lot of spell power. Like my number one damage for this character will be Conk. And then like DFO, because it dropped one raid and I grabbed it, Whisper Fang Skull for more aggro. So I've got defense cap, hit cap, and then everything else is aggro generating things. And then one more add-on that I didn't go over last time is Move Anything. Very nice add-on. So it's just here in the escape menu. And then if I, for example, want to move my buffs, which is what I just did, you click where you want to move the mover, and you can move it. So if you want your debuffs in the middle of the screen, you can move them there. But I use this in conjunction with the add-on Carbonite that lets me hide my map completely because I don't need the map displayed 5 times on these screens, right? Their guys are all grouped together anyway. I really don't need that. So I did get rid of the map, and then I move the debuffs and buffs to the top right corner nicely. And then when you're done moving things, you make sure you uncheck the mover button and press save, and then X out of it. And then it will be up there for the next time. Rest is just grid. I think it's grid 2 actually, and super easy to set up. If I have the menu thing turned on, which I think, yes, cool. Yeah, you've got to turn this. One thing I don't like about it is you have to turn an add-on on. I'll show you real quick. Just takes a second. Grid 2. You have to turn this on. Pop, pop, pop. If you do this a lot, multiboxing, if you do a lot of multiboxing, proper syntax there, you might want to make an invite macro, and you can also use /inv, but I just did invite when I first started. I've never changed these macros. And you could also just make one super long invite macro using, again, super duper macro. You could make it with all of your characters' names. And then for your DPS, you probably want like a focus, like it's literally just /focus macro. So you don't, and I put it on equal sign so that you don't have to type /focus every time. And then this is the chat macro that is very nice. If you look in this bottom right window, I press it and it turns off chat because I don't need to see 5 quickly spamming things of global chat. I'm good on that. So let's see if this works. Grid 2, beautiful. Change this to horizontal so that they're all matching. And then really the last main thing that I use is Bartender. It just lets you move bars. You can also change the scale. Like I want this first one to be, it's at 0.7, so I'm gonna change it to 0.5. Look how small it is. Or 1.5, look how big it is. You know, you can adjust it however you want things to be laid out. Stance bar, totem bars, everything. And then RBS is nice. Recount, Pally Power, must have. A cooldown counter is kind of nice also for multiboxing, so you can look at one character instead of trying to scan all your guys. Oh, does he have, this ability up or whatever? And then that's kind of the quick and dirty, fast run through on like I consider it to be must-haves for multiboxing. So let's get into an RDF. Turn this down just a scooch. That's pretty loud. And it's playing 5 times. Again, Pally Power must have. you'll probably want to keep Sanct for Paladin, because otherwise you'll run and then Wisdom for healers, and then Kings everybody else. This is the way I do it most of the time. If you have a DK tank, you can get stuff like the Drum of Kings or Drum of the Wild. Very nice, Mark of the Wild. Adds a lot of resist, and then I use the RBS to check my buffs frequently. You know, do the priest buff. Mapping things like Vampiric Essence, Inner Fire to all the same binds in the same spot on all your characters. It's very nice also. I'm trying to think of other things that I would highly recommend. So here, run up, stop follow, which is G. A whenever at the start is your move backwards. And then H I have is totems for all my characters, for all my shamans. And then I press, I'll go over it again. So I'm gonna run up, press G, stop follow, H, drop totems, select this dude as I'm running up, press 1, which starts my tank rotation, and it starts a heal. And then for all of the DPS, it targets this dude. Can you pulled? Got too close. And then I'm going to press T, which is the melee characters. See, he moves up there. And then start spamming 2, which is just my general rotation for all my DPS. I very rarely put dots on mobs unless they have a lot of HP, but for bosses, obviously you'll want your full dot rotation. For paladins, make sure you've got Divine Plea used on cooldown. Less stoppage. Sometimes I think I've got it on right now. Double check. These mobs are kind of annoying because they heal so much. If you've got like kind of a lower group, you may actually struggle to kill them unless you interrupt. I have click to move on this tank also, which I like it and I don't like it, depending on the night. It can mess you up if you forget or if you're not used to it. But if you've got a melee in the group, you're going to be using T, which is again the melee control, interact with target. You're going to be using that anyway, so just try to remember that in your back of your head. 1 2 1 2 1 2, just spamming it over and over. Actually, I'll put this on the screen so you can see. I don't need a Shadow Priest twice on my screen. This will show you what buttons I'm pressing here in the top right, key name, and then also here it will show you like key 2 is being sent to all my windows. Just running. It's not a bad thing to go a little bit slower, especially if you're newer to multiboxing. Obviously, you want to like the first pack, especially make sure that all of your buttons are working. Make sure the script is on, which you turn my script on with scroll lock on or off toggles the script actually working. It sucks when this application it can freeze. It's fairly rare for it to freeze for just 5 accounts, but if you run up and like nobody's casting anything, like you got to quickly close it and reopen it, and then it usually just will start working if you've got everything still loaded correctly. This is RDF, so I can't really quote unquote loot everything, but I'm going to try to loot as much stuff as I can because all that trash loot, it does add up after a while. So yeah, this bottom right Shadow Priest, the one I've got covered up, is like just barely 5k. This Shadow Priest is 6k. This Shaman is 5.7, but I'm going to put MP5 gear on so I can stop even less. Because 5.4, even if it's kind of cruddy, like look, it's PvP gear, it's MP5 gear, like every single item. I mean, look at Merlin's Robe has MP5 everything. So, but it just helps me not stop quite as much. Run up, GH, drop totems, 1, 2, and then press T. You're kind of like, I don't want to say dancing, but you'll kind of get into a rhythm. 4, 5, 3. So I just put full dots on them. And that's a boss down. Easy peasy. I highly recommend bringing in an enchanter. Almost all of my tanks are enchanters. Some of my shadow priests are also enchanters, just so that I always have one in the group. You'll want to add your AoE abilities on all characters to something easy. Like for me, I picked E, very easy to reach. So if I press E, it will use Mind Seer on all of them. It will use this really nice macro that my Guildian friend Curry's wrote. Not a macro, sorry, this nice feature in Auctioneer. It's just an AoE ground like setup. Part of the script that you add, you can just literally copy and paste this at the end. And so it's set up right now for Windows 1, 3, and 5. So you can change it to whatever ones you want. So I'm going to do on Windows just 3, just the DK. Okay, and I'll show you what it does. It's very, very nice. And very easy to, you just change what windows you have your AoE ground guys on. So like a Death and Decay or a Lily Hurricane, and then save the script. I just edited it, press Control S, save, close it, and then press reload script. Now the next room. Sorry, I'm a loot whore. I gotta loot. Okay, we're good. Run to the next room. And I'll do this boss. It's kind of annoying, but I would definitely normally skip it. But it's a good chance to use the AoE. So I'm just in the top left window, right? I'm going to press E, and it's going to drop Death and Decay on the ground. How nice is that? And it puts the cursor back right where it was. So it's just a super, super nice feature. Thank you, Mr. Curries and Mr. Coatpala for sharing that. Tab still works for targeting for all these other windows. So if for whatever reason your assist, sometimes things don't go perfectly as planned, your /assist macro, if it's not working and your guys aren't targeting and you realize it, you can press tab and it will send to all these other windows. So that's pretty nice. You can also turn that off if you didn't want to, but the number of times where it saved me is a lot. So here, I'm turning around. When I want to turn around, I press F, move my tank in front, and then press G again so that they stop following. So that's how you reposition your guys, is all through the follow and stop follow. So F is follow for me, G is stop follow. F, turn around, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, target, because when you follow, it makes the tank your target again. And then F, turn around, G to stop follow, and start spamming 1, 2, 1, 2. F, turn around, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I like to press the target thing multiple times because, again, sometimes it just doesn't work. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Try and get the achievement. I don't think anybody can reach the ground. So yeah, DPS isn't great. It doesn't need to be. Like, especially on a fight like this where everything's like there's literal downtime when we summoning mobs. There's an even worse example of poor DPS. Or better example of poor DPS, I should say. Oh, look, I got the achievement. If you like achievements, this is a good way to do it. Like, you're on your own time. You can strategize, make your plan, and kind of figure out how to do each of the achievements. I think, like, except for like the weird ones, I might not have some of the weird ones. So yeah, like Trial of Champions, super annoying. I've never really tried to get these ones. Being honest with you, I could go through and like figure out the strats. The Forge of Souls ones would probably be pretty hard. Trying to think of other hard ones to do. But if you notice, I'm playing like almost 99% off the tank. I'm looking even at his window when I'm trying to make sure my healer's in range and the DPS is DPSing and stuff like that. I'm still looking at his window. I just noticed these are the same skin of swords are the same skin from Zul'Gurub. Like one of the swords from there. It's cool. Troll sword. I recommend Shadow Priests or Boomies for beginners. I wouldn't mess with melee too much until you get the hang of it, because it is harder. Like melees just adds a whole nother. Because all casters or all healers are casters, right? So just by having melee in there, you've got a mixed composition group, and it makes it immediately harder. Bigger pulls, you want to make sure you use like every ability that you have. Sacred Shield. I would say paladins are much easier than DK tanks. DK tanks aren't necessarily like super hard, but they are harder. So, and pally tanks are just really powerful. AoE abilities, more cooldowns. For like an AoE taunt, that's what I'm trying to say. Not defensive cooldowns. They've got, throw shield is an AoE, conk is a AoE, hammer is a AoE. There's three right there. If you come to this place, this black stuff on the ground, it does hurt. Like, like you totally could die. Like several of your guys could even die if you're not careful standing in this black stuff. You'll learn that corners and like line of sight is your friend. So like here, I'm going to move the healer a little bit into the crevice to make sure that this other shaman pulls. Look, nicely grouped up now. Easy, easy. My phone is freaking out. It's unplugging. Oh, totems. Reason why I use shaman healers are totems are powerful, especially fear totem, cleansing totem are very nice for multiboxing. If you're caster based, like I have most of my groups, Wrath of Air, and the Flame Tongue totem is also very nice. Spell power ones. Also makes your paladin everything aggro more. And Chain Heal is a smart heal. If you use Glyph Chain Heal, your Chain Heal also bounces an extra time, so it bounces to 4 targets, so it heals almost all of your dudes. Paladins are totally viable. They're just a little bit more finicky and a little bit more mana intensive. You can't just spam it the entire time. Like, obviously this guy's going but I haven't stopped this entire time, and I've got 2 hymns I can use if I really want to top off and like a full mana combo. If you've got Shadow Priest, super nice. They've got the double hymn, heal him, and mana him. If you use Boomies, you've got Enervate. Rebirth is also kind of nice for those mistakes. So I've got O also bound for drink for all my dudes, so I can very easily top off mana. I'm going to make him drink while he gets a hymn and mana totem, and he'll be almost full mana and like 4 or 5 seconds of downtime. Easy peasy. Oh, his pet's dead. I just finally noticed. Thanks to RBS, notice his pet's dead. These guys also can kill you pretty easily, especially when you pull all of them like I just did. You want to really make sure you've got Tremor Totem, Hammer, or Holy Wrath, very nice. Silence, very nice. Make sure you're not getting hit in the back. Pro tip. I'm actually going to bust some cooldowns here so that I don't die. And the next boss has that weird kind of mechanic where it stops the fight, so I don't even need cooldowns for the next fight. Overpulled, and you just keep pressing buttons. Like, just don't stop pressing buttons. Because as soon as you do, you stop aggroing, you stop healing, and you stop DPSing. Even if your guys get feared and they're facing the wrong direction, you just keep pressing buttons. It's okay to be a little bit of a clicker. Like, Paladin, obviously, all of his abilities are instants, right? But that's not true of other characters. So there's going to be times where somebody else is casting and you need to get off Avenging Wrath or throw your shield or whatever. So there's going to be times where you need to click, or if you've got F1 through F5 bound on certain things and you don't want to cast Bloodlust ×5 or Mana Tide Totem and use them all at the same time. You've got multiple shamans. Like, there's times it's totally fine to be a clicker. And again, because I have a DE here, and I did RDF, that was 10 UF for 5 guys. And then, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4 bosses. So math, 4 times 5 is 20. So 20 EOTs across all of them. And then I got some DE maths, I'll get a couple more here when this is done loot rolling. If you do find an add-on that lets you pass loot on characters, let me know, because I've tried a couple and I didn't really like the ones that I had. They are kind of an all or nothing thing. You can also right-click on your profiles and go pass on loot on these guys, or you can use the HotKeyNet built-in tilde feature, which broadcasts mouse clicks. If you see, it's kind of hard to notice, but I'm going to press tilde and mouse click kind of in the middle of the screen. Let me find a better example. Here, this on my micro menu on character info. I'm going to try and click on that on all my characters. And notice it didn't work. So I'm going to go over to the second one. I feel like sometimes it needs like a second window to find the right position, like to calibrate or something. But look, if I try to close them all, it works. So the broadcast mouse feature is not perfect for HotKeyNet. It's probably one of its biggest downsides is that, and then formations. Like, ISBoxer has a really cool thing where you just, once you set it up, you can press a button and all your guys just space out nicely, you know? Ah, nice. Now, if there's a debuff from the ground, they're all spaced out ahead of time kind of thing. Like, I don't think you can do like flying V and make a V formation, or, oh, there's a whole bunch. So yeah, I'll keep doing more RDF, like just random dungeons, and talk my way through what I'm doing, just like this one. If this helps you, or if you have questions, please let me know in the comments down below. And please subscribe to the YouTube stuff, like all the good jazz. I'd appreciate it. Anyway, I'm gonna end it here with just one and see what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Laters.